Saints with well-documented injury problems, which means that this is how they line up. Tommy Makinson is the latest to occupy the fullback berth. Adam Swift with Adi Gardner still out injured on one of the wings. Jordan Turner, Mark Percival and Francis Melly. Lance Ahaya and John Wilkin, the half-back combination for St Helens once again. In the forwards, Puliatua and Josh Perry out through injury. McCarthy, Scarsbrook, Stuart Howarth and Anthony Love-Frankie, the front row. Then it's Sia Soliola, Josh Jones and Paul Wellens, who captains the side from loose forward once again. On the bench, Paul Clough, Joe Greenwood, Alex Walmsley and James Tilley, and the coach is Nathan Brown. Catalan Dragons, having lost Olivier Elmer to injury in the week, have Morgan Escarret at fullback, Damien Blanche, Steve Menzies, Daryl Millard, Frederick Vacari, and the halfback returning to his old club, Leon Price, with Thomas Bosk, who returns to the side after injury. That's great news for the Dragons. In the forwards, Mikel Simon, Ian Henderson, Remy Casti, who captains the side, Zeb Tyre, Louis Anderson and Jason Bitteri at loose forward. And on the bench for the Catalan Dragons, Gregory Muniz, Eloy Pellissier, Jamil Fakir and Lapini Pia. The coach is Laurent Fresineau.
Thanks, Bill. So here are the Catalan Dragons, having lost just one of their first 9. They come to Langtree Park having lost 2 in a row. They've a poor away record to improve upon, just 1 win in the last 5 away from Perpignan. They have won 3 of their last 4 visits here, though, to take on St Helens, and they have won 9 of 15 against the Catalan Dragons, 4 of 7 home encounters, and they also won 3 Challenge Cup meetings, including the 2007 Cup final at the first at the brand new Wembley Stadium. Now then, before this game gets underway, the players of both sides will line up to observe a minute's silence, because the rugby league world was saddened recently by the death of Arthur Thomas, aged just 69. Arthur Thomas was a director of the St Helens Club, as well as being a chairman of both Wigan and Leigh. He's a tireless servant of the game who loved to make a big difference, and did make a big difference at all 3 clubs. He was very passionate about his rugby league. He made an immense and valuable contribution to the sport, and he was the man who gave Ian Millwood his big chance in the United Kingdom and in the game in this country all those years ago. He'll be sadly missed, and the crowd here now will stand and observe with the players out there on the park a minute's silence in memory of a true rugby league man, Arthur Thomas. Phil Bentham, the match referee, bringing the minute silence to an end in memory of Arthur Thomas. Well, both these teams will be involved in cup action next week. Catalan at Hunslet, but St Helens looking to bridge a 5-year gap and get themselves back to Wembley. They travel to Hull Kingston Rovers, where they lost last Sunday. But some young, fresh faces in this St Helens team, some massive players out. Gardner, Lomax, Perry, Roby, Puliatua, Manu, Flanagan and Gary Wheeler. But can the youngsters of St Helens and the nice mix of experience, can they handle the physical challenge that the Catalan Dragons will produce here tonight?
Well, if the Saints can absorb that in the opening 10-15 minutes, yes, I think they can build on it, Eddie. You've already mentioned the youngsters, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Mark Percival. He's been impressive this season. And if they can lay that platform for the three quarters, of course, Catalan, they'll be looking to try to just blast the Saints off the park early.
Sia Soliola, he'll be very important tonight, as will Paul Wellens. It'll be interesting to see him playing at loose forward. When we were last here in the programme after the match Super League extra time, Nathan Brown, the St Helens coach, hinted that Paul Wellens just might be a loose forward from here on in, with Johnny Lomax doing such a good job at full-back. There is the St Helens coach. He hasn't got Lomax, but he has got Tommy Makinson operating at full-back here tonight.
I think he'll make a great fist of it, Eddie, mainly due to the fact that Paul Wellens is one of the greatest players to just read the game and know when to support the man with the ball in hand. He'll enjoy working in the forwards.
Well, he'll have to work hard to contain this big Catalan Dragons pack. There's Ian Henderson at dummy half, and he looks for the runner, and that's Remy Casti. Now, look at the state of Ian Henderson. He's got a massive piece of sticking plaster underneath his chin, and I think Bill Arthur has been making some investigations to find out what that's all about. Bill, what's the story?
Ian Henderson picked up a nasty gash on his chin in the defeat at Hull last week. In fact, needed a lot of treatment in the week. He's ended up with 10 stitches, but it's a deep wound in the chin, hence the very not flattering protection he's got in that area.
Well, brave, aren't they, the Super League players? Stitches, deep wound in the chin, they just put a bit of sticking tape on it and out they go the week after. Quite incredible. Melly to his feet. And that was Wilkin who tips the ball inside to Wellens, and that's a high shot. Remy Casti going a bit over the top of the shoulder on Paul Wellens. Well, indiscipline has been their problem.
Yeah, all the way through this season. And that's a lazy attempt there by Remy Casti. And that's something that Paul Wellens will have to get used to. Playing at full-back, he wouldn't have experienced many of the prop forwards getting towards him.
Stuart Howarth restarts, and talking of prop forwards, there is Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook taking it at Battieri and at Remy Casti. This now is Antonina Franchi. Good tackling by Henderson. Good work low down.
Slow defence by Catalan. Look, they're hanging back.
And that's Makinson. Gets it wide to Melly. Melly then infield it comes to Percival. Percival, elusive runner. We've seen that in the few occasions that we've seen Mark Percival so far. He broke into the team last month. Here's Makinson again.
Wow, they love that far side of the field. We've only been playing 3 minutes, and it's exclusively down the left that St Helens are attempting to attack.
And it's good work by Josh Jones. Howarth gets the ball away to O'Hare. He will dink it up into the air. Palm back by Melly. Swooped on by McCarthy-Scarsbrook. Melly is there again. Flicks the ball back and flicks the ball out.
Good work by Damien Blanche. Now then, was that ball? I think the ball hit the man rather than the other way around.
Just checking whether it's played at or not.
They're checking whether the ball was played at by Escalé. It's thrown inside, isn't it? I don't think it is. He's just attempted to tackle. It should be a
head and feet
possession.
Yeah.
Catalan head and feet, yeah. Not playing that.
Well, they've handled the pressure of the visitors. A very good start by St Helens. They'll be buoyed by that.
It was the last tackle, so for anybody new to rugby league, and the last tackle, the balls are handed over. It's not a scrum to restart play. 10 metres in from touch.
And Thomas Bosk will play the ball. He's been told by Phil Bentham to play it on the mark. And here is Battieri. The scrum would have been set 20 metres in from the touchline. The turnover is 10 metres in. Maybe that's where the confusion arose. It's Laurent Fresneau, the Catalan Dragons coach, watching here as Henderson has a little scamper from dummy half. Tried to get the ball away to Casti, but 4 St Helens players make sure that he doesn't do that. There's Leon Price. I was going to say back on familiar territory. Oh, that's a good hit by Lafranchi. Was going to say back on familiar territory, but of course, had we been playing at Nosey Road, that would have been true. Henderson again, just inside his own half of the field. Solid St Helens defence.
Has to be as well. You mentioned the fact Leon Price, you know, he's such a talented player, but he's got to get himself involved. It was good to see him take that ball up there. That's a great kick. Chase is pretty solid too.
Yes, Melly has some work to do. Taya was in there very quickly, Taya rather, and so too Menzies.
Now go, get up.
And that's Adam Swift.
Wait, go two.
That's Lance O'Hire who gets the pass away. Solid defence again on Jones.
Wait, go.
Well, I've got it worked out now of Catalan. As I say early in the piece, they were hanging back. They were not moving towards St Helens when they had possession. They've got that sorted out a lot quicker.
O'Hire, they're coming down this right-hand side, but Simon and Leon Price do the business. Howarth at dummy half. Back it comes to Wilkin, kicker in chief, left-footed, right down the centre of the field.
We've seen some great quality from the kicks on both sides at the moment. The two from Catalan to begin the game certainly put their opponents under pressure, and you can see clearly for the Dragons, both of these teams lost last weekend, and it's a conservative, risk-free approach to begin the match and ensure that their opponents are the ones having to work hard to get away from their own half of the field.
You know, when you look at this team sheet for St Helens, we know they're a great side, we know the players that they're missing, but you feel that this is a great opportunity for the Catalan Dragons. They need to come here, show us that they can win away from home, and they can take advantage of playing against the depleted opposition.
Stuart Howarth had to stand his ground then with that run from Anderson coming straight at him. Ian Henderson, and Howarth can't get involved. He had to keep his back turned because had he got the tackle in then he would have been pinged for offside.
Crafty play, wasn't it, by Henderson?
They're 30 metres away. Henderson again. Back it comes to Leon Price. This will go high, and it does. And there's a real chase on here as the ball hangs in the air, and Makinson does well. Was he tackled in the air then?
Well, it appeared that way. Bentham waved it away. Good high kick.
You know, that's
Very
the
good.
third time now that they've given St Helens possession in that 10-metre strip of land between their own try line and 10 metres out. It's a pretty effective way of giving your opponents possession if you can't score or get the ball back again. And look, we're putting St Helens under pressure. The shift wide with Turner just gets them over the 20-metre line.
Millard and Price dealing with the threat. There is Lance O'Hire. Dummy half ball comes in field to Wellens. He tries to get Wilkin away.
Nice little offload, but as I mentioned before, you know, Paul Wellens will know where to put himself. That should be... No, the ball played the man, so it'll be on the last.
And Wilkin just thumps the ball downfield, and that will run dead. Tommy Makinson with the kick, not John Wilkin, my apologies. It was Howarth who got the first kick away. The man wasn't playing at the ball. There was the view of Phil Bentham.
We just get the feeling that both these outfits are just sort of trying to sort themselves out. Both trying to get back on the horse after defeats last weekend. Suffered at the hands of both the Hull outfits.
And the Catalan Dragons have spent the full week, as Bill told us and as Phil told us in the build-up to this game. Here in the UK, they haven't been charging across the channel and coming back again.
It's got to be an advantage, Eddie.
You would think so.
Yeah, especially late in the game. And oh, that was lazy defence.
But a good run from Remy Casti. Gets them to the halfway line on tackle number 3. So 3 left here as Henderson gets the ball away and finds Battieri. And he goes up the middle. Lefranchi and Turner and Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook there to bring him down. He made 11 metres progress though. And Henderson again. Infield it comes, and this is Thomas Bosch, and he finds Leon Price, and there's movement behind him. It's this young man, Escaré.
Tremendous defence though by St Helens. Not one of the players came out of the line. They just asked the question.
Now here is Adam Swift.
Whoa! Shot.
That's the second in quick succession from Remy Casti.
He's very fortunate, perhaps. Well, I think there's sometimes a time when you get a second goal that you should be given maybe 10 minutes in the sin bin.
Have a look at this one again, Steve-O. That's come off his arm, with the arm sliding up. That's difficult for Remy Casti to
Yeah,
try and keep that down. There was nothing close to a tackle on the head. The player fell into it. I think that's made it look a lot worse than what it was.
Yeah, but the arm was raised pretty high. It looked as though it's going to be over the shoulder, even if it hits the arm as well. It's the impact, it's the intent.
19-year-old Josh Jones on the ball. Howarth waiting at dummy half. Big job on the shoulders of the likes of Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook, who just played that ball to Howarth. The forward battle tonight will be intense. It always is when the Catalan Dragons are in town. Wellens will play it. Here's Howarth. Now it's O'Hire. O'Hire then gets the pass away to Jones again. And he goes down 10 metres away from the line. Howarth brought into St Helens just before Easter, made his debut against the Wigan Warriors at Good Friday. Lafranchi goes down on the last 5 metres away. Back it comes to O'Hire. He'll hoist the kick wide and towards the in-goal area, but Menzies is underneath it, and he took that from inside the field of play, is forced over the dead ball line. Saints have got themselves the first drop out of the match.
Well, Nathan Brown will be happy with this because there was a beautiful kick from Lance O'Hire. That's the way to put the pressure on your opposition. Well taken by the experienced...
That's John Wilkin now, who just put the ball. It was almost a 50-metre gain there from that. They've then forced a goal line dropout with another very, very accurate kick. Really impressive in the first 10 minutes. The accuracy and quality of both sets of teams when they're kicking the ball. Now then, it's a first goal line dropout. A third set of possession in a row. Can St Helens turn it into points?
And Leon Price, in attempting to stop that penalty kick finding touch, he almost wrapped himself around one of our cameras, but he's okay. And so is the cameraman, more importantly. This is Jordan Turner, and Turner has seen a little hole. Swift is waiting at dummy half, and he'll fire the ball inside to O'Hire. He'll then give it to Wellens. Wellens will take on Batieri.
Second phase, will they bring Makinson in?
There's Wilkin, good ball, finds Makinson. He gets it away to Percival. That's great defence from Menzies.
Beautiful low tackle, wasn't it? Had to be as well.
And Wilkin with a left foot crossfield kick. The ball cannons off somebody, and it went off Saints, so it's a tap on the 20 metres.
Well, they're applying the pressure under the home side, and they've been very good kicks indeed. Plenty of height, allows them plenty of time to get underneath it. I always say the more pressure you apply, you'll come up with the goods, you'll come up with the points. Now then, can the French outfit, can they get anywhere near the halfway line? Solid defence from both sides.
And it will have to be. That's Frederick Vacary. He's hardly played this year, only his third appearance of 2013. Here goes Escaré now. They try and get Escaré involved at every opportunity. It's exciting to watch the young fullback. And Batieri gives it to Bosk, and Bosk gets it further wide. No way through, though. Solid defence from St Helens once again. It was Michael Simon who gets to his feet. Bosk loops the pass to Price. Here is Anderson. Oh, and it's opened up for Millard suddenly. St Helens scrambling back, get him down on the last 20 metres away from the line. Anderson again, and here is Price. This will go to the air and it'll go wide. Melia's out there, Percival's out there. Percival didn't claim it, Menzies did, gets it to Damien Blanche, and Damien Blanche keeps going, and St Helens scramble back, and that's a zero tackle. There was a St Helens hand in there as they try and got the high kick, and they didn't make it. And there's a penalty.
Yeah, they rushed out. None of them got into the right position. Nobody went over the goal line. And not surprisingly, Ian Henderson was very, very quick to alert the official. Bentham gave the penalty.
Well, this is a great opportunity for the Catalan Dragons, the first one really that they've put any concerted pressure on that St Helens line, as Simon drives it in once again. Only the 11th start of Simon's career for the Dragons. He's played 10 times for France. Henderson off the ground finds Batieri. Batieri looks for the runners, it's Bosk, and here is Anderson, and that was a good tackle needed on Anderson.
Had to be as well. It was a delayed pass. Anderson got through.
Well done, Jordan Turner. That's good defence from Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook. Quickly off his own line on Ian Henderson. Batieri waiting. Batieri then gets the short pass into Casti, and he'll drive the legs towards the line.
This is where Price has to make himself involved.
Henderson switches the direction of the play. Here's Escaré. Escaré to Millard. Millard is well tackled by O'Hire. This is great St Helens defence at the moment.
Wonderful play by Ohio there. Ball and all tackle, no chance. Neat little grubber. Oh, tremendous stuff.
Well done, Stuart Howard.
What a great start to a game. You know, scoring shouldn't be easy, and these two sides are making sure that they're not going to let their opponents over the try line without a considerable effort. Look at the desire there now necessary from Stuart Howard to prevent a goal line dropout or a try conceded. And the Dragons are piling in here now to put the pressure on the Saints.
Stuart Howard felt that. It was bravery when he got down to pick up that low ball, and he got a real clattering for his pains as well. Josh Jones goes down now.
There's nowhere to hide, Eddie, and that's where Stuart Howard certainly put his body on the line. Boy, we knew this was going to be tough, but no clean breaks. Not surprisingly, they're opting for the kick. Wilkin, they put him under a lot of pressure.
Oh, very well claimed that by Frederick Vackery. Claimed it almost like a goalkeeper.
You won't see too many catch him like that. It's a brave decision. He's got right underneath the ball, stretched his hands above his head and caught it. Not using the chest to pouch it. Gives Catalan Dragons good attacking space.
Escaré again, he's so dangerous. He played the ball there to Millard. And St Helens know how dangerous Millard is. Remember last February?
The one thing I really enjoy about this Morgan Escaré, Eddie, is the fact that when he gets tackled, he wants to get on with the game.
Price, good ball from him to Simon. Simon goes wide to Steve Menzies. Percival tackling with him. 18 years old Percival. Menzies over twice his age. That'll be an interesting battle tonight. And here is Taylor again. Brushing away from a couple. Down he goes. Wilkin and Soliola dealing with the threat. But the threat is still there because this is the last. And here is Leon Price. Gives it inside to Bosk. Bosk stinks it over the top looking for Anderson. And well done, young Adam Swift. Very anxious, Lauren Fraser knew that his team get back on the horse here tonight.
Oh, that looked high as well. Neat little chip over the top under a lot of pressure there from Thomas Bosk. Well, we expected the combination of Price and Bosk to come to the fore, but everything that they've brought upon, St Helens have been able to just extinguish.
So we've had nearly 17 minutes and we still await the first points in this match.
Eddie, we also await the first handling error. It's been a high quality. The focus and concentration from both teams really impressive. And look there, the quality again of the kick, just dangerously sitting inside the field of play and making Escaré run it back.
Running it back only as far as Adam Swift. This is Frederick Vackery.
Well, it's very rare in Super League that we find we're going into nearly 18 minutes into a game and not one clean break. The inference that the defence is certainly on top, that is for sure. It's a bruiser. Oh, that's the first one we've seen.
It is, and it's from Jason Vettieri, and he had Soliola on his back. It's the fourth tackle, that. And here is Leon Price. They couldn't touch him, those two. They knew they were offside. Price gets the ball away, and Ian Henderson will pick it up. Henderson's looking for the winger, Damien Blanche. He's not there. That's a great tackle by Percival. Oh, but Melly goes into touch. But will they play the first knock on?
Catalan ball.
No, it's the Catalan ball.
It was indicated that the ball has actually gone backwards and it hit the head of, I think it was Percival. There's Henderson. Percival goes to it.
Well, does he say Percival gets a hand to that? Well, that's it backwards.
Is it the hand or is it the head? Well, maybe he's deemed. It certainly hits the head of young Mark Percival, and is obviously deemed that he was going backwards. And well, that should be play on. Oh, he's got it right. He's obviously had a little bit of a word in the ear.
Well, he isn't happy, Lauren Fraser. He probably believes that the crowd got the St Helens decision there. But brave enough to put his hand up and say he made the mistake.
I'm just trying to work it out. It looks on that last replay that he's tried to pass it backwards. It hits Percival's head, goes forward, and Melly gets put into touch. To me, that would say that it's Catalan Dragons' ball, but play on. St Helens have got it.
And Soliola tried to work the ball away. Let's have another look at it here now.
That's got seems to me to be going backwards till it hits Mark Percival.
Well, it's obviously deemed that Henderson did knock it forward. It's a 50-50 or maybe 60-40, either way.
Well, that's why none of us up here wants to be a referee, because every decision is scrutinised, and Steve Ganson will tell you that.
You know, Saints love to kick the ball at it, particularly Lance Ohio, another one downfield then. But when you do it against Morgan Esquire and the Catalan Dragons, you've got to hope that all of your chasers are feeling fit and fresh, because he's a quick player, as we've already identified, and he loves to return and look for the gap between the two defenders.
You know what you can't feel in this game yet, Eddie, so far into it? You can't really get an idea if there's an ascendancy, a real definite ascendancy. I understand the Catalan Dragons have been spending more time attacking St. Helens, but St. Helens do look dangerous. We'll see if the Catalan Dragons can get a score up with all this pressure that they have.
Well, they got away with that, and they got the penalty, because that looked a delayed pass from Leon Price that was shifting forward. It's always difficult for the officials. Anderson deemed that Ohio has stolen the ball. He's the culprit as far as the official.
And this is interesting. I think Thomas Bosk has just indicated that they will take the 2 points on offer here, if at all possible. And no wonder, with nearly 20 minutes on the clock and we haven't had a point yet.
You can see our little performance gauge down in the bottom. That's just looked at the fundamentals of the game, and you would see the green light really means that both sides are doing well in the meters and tackle success, although the Dragons have made quite a lot more ground than St. Helens. And you just imagine that the Dragons are slightly on top with the stats so far.
Well, they didn't win any of their first home games this year under Nathan Brown, St. Helens, but they come into this match on the back of a 3-match winning sequence at home. Wakefield, Castleford and Salford all put to the sword. But here's the opportunity for Thomas Bosk to get the first points of the evening here. Missed the defeat against Hull on Sunday, his first absence of the year, and he sliced that the wrong side of the post.
Well, at least it's gone down. They'll get possession back from the dropout.
Well, did you see Paul Wellens a little disgusted in his teammates that they didn't attempt to catch this ball? They caught the ball in the field of play, admittedly in the in-goal area. It was their possession and a chance to run on with it. As it is here now, they're more likely to have to kick it ball to the Dragons.
Oh, it's a dodgy one as well. It's bobbling all over. Oh, well taken by the winger.
Yes, Blanche did well on that occasion, didn't he?
That was probably the best option as well in regards for going for the 2 points. Okay, Thomas Bosk was just out to the right-hand side of the post, but it just shows you the impression on both sides in defence. It's been very effective.
I've been harping on all night about that exceptional game that we saw here last February. The Catalan Dragons were 20 points to 8 down at half-time, 26 points 8 down with 23 minutes to go. They got 5 tries in the final quarter. Millard's try in the last minute, Scott Giroud's goal from the sideline, and the Dragons went home with a victory by 34 points to 32. And the Dragons look in the mood here to make it very difficult for St. Helens here tonight. Here is Simon.
Well, it was a magical try, wasn't it? And I'll tell you something, it's going to take some magic to be able to get through either of defence. So you get the feeling that the Catalan side are building to it. That's a neat little kick through. Oh, they've taken a gamble. Oh, they allowed that ball to bounce all over the place. You've got to take safety first. That should have been knocked over.
I think he's just looking for how to restart the game here, isn't he?
Yeah, there's no evidence of any possible try, but I cannot believe that they left this. There's a kick through. Makinson's in a good position.
Is it not because teams don't want to do that goal line dropout, fearing another set will lead to a try, so they're just hoping that ball's going to bounce and roll over the dead ball line?
Well, you can't take that gamble. I mean, if it was going 100 miles an hour, you could say, but look, when it bounces up, Makinson, well, he realises he's made a real boo-boo, and it's a knock-on. Definitely a knock-on as far as I'm concerned by Steve Menzies.
Nearly a knockout.
He gets a touch to it there, and that's a knock-on. But very fortunate indeed, St. Helens. We all know what a rugby league ball can do, and you can't take a chance like that. Very fortunate indeed.
Ironic cheers from the crowd. They believe that that decision could have been made without reference upstairs, but the technology's here. Bill Bentham and the referees might as well use it.
Hold, fellas. Go, one. 2, move,
That could have been dangerous.
hold,
Could have been very dangerous on Joe Greenwood. See a Soliola. The established players in this team, the Turners, the Soliolas, the Mellies rather, the Ohios and the Wilkins and company, they'll probably have to do almost the full 80 today, because I know there's a lot of youthful enthusiasm out there, but experience counts for a lot.
It does, especially against a big, aggressive side like this, Eddie. If St Helens kick the ball to Catalan Dragons now, which you'd expect them to do, I want to see what the Catalan Dragons' tactics are. I think their best effort is getting the ball out wide to Louis Anderson, to Zeb Taya. Louis Anderson is facing up against the former Kiwi international Lance Ohaya. Anderson has certainly got the physical advantage on that one. Zeb Taya on the right-hand side, well, he's got the advantage as well. I think the Catalan Dragons need to start spreading it a little bit earlier to those fringe attackers.
Well, deadlock here at the Langtree Park. Bill?
It's unusual to see Paul Wellens substituted so early in proceedings, but this is the role he's involved in now. He's got through plenty of work early on in the first quarter of this game in his new role at loose forward, and he's been given a breather of Joe Greenwood on in his place.
And that'll be music to the ears of Barry McDermott and Terry O'Connor, because they always think that the backs have the easy job and the forwards have the hard work to do.
Well, they were having a laugh coming into the stadium, Paul Wellens and Terry O'Connor. 41 tackles, I believe, Paul Wellens did last week, and Terry was asking him how it felt to do the tough stuff in a game.
Leon Price, he looks in the mood tonight, doesn't he?
Yeah, it certainly does, and the combination with Ian Henderson has been quite effective, but as I say...
Oh, this has got danger written all over it.
Oh, what a take.
Very well taken, Adam Swift.
Unbelievable.
He took that brilliantly.
Did he ever, and got a bit of a smack in the mouth from Daryl Millard. That was definitely after his ear coming through. That should have been a penalty.
Impressive young man, Adam Swift, one of many that are coming through. Millard giving him a bit of a seeing to. 3 tries on his debut against Widnes here last April. Little half break here from Melly. He's got support from Soliola. Soliola gets the ball away.
It's a forward.
Forward, says the referee, Phil Bentham. He was bang in line with that. Good chasing back by Blanche, to be fair.
Well, it was sheer panic. That's the first break that Saints have provided, and he knows it. They got back in numbers, they had to. Beautiful little half break, then the offload.
Worried for John Wells tonight. He gives us all the half-time news and the tries. We've got 15 minutes to produce one. Otherwise, John, for the first time in his life, might be lost for words.
It's times like that you need to call Rod Studd in. Get him over from Headingley.
Well, if you're listening, John, you could at least discuss the new hairstyle from the visitors, Catalan. Here's a good opportunity.
Play on, says the referee. Ohio had hold of him, but the tackle was not completed. Escaray will play it here. And away he darts once again, does Vakri, who has really been involved in quite a bit here tonight already.
Yeah,
Henderson waits.
He's not frightened, Eddie, to put his body on the line. But I keep referring to this, the guy that's in dummy half there, Ian Henderson. He's been the linchpin so far.
With all that tape on his chin, he looks like something out of a movie, doesn't he?
I think John Wells might just pick out some of the half-back plays by Bosk and Price. Really good how they straighten up and get the defenders having to take them head on, giving the chance. But at the moment, Centella's defence has been equal to the threat.
Muniz is out there. He did well. He got the ball away to Anderson. And here is the first try for that man, Frederick Vakri. Vakri with the try. Only his 3rd appearance of this year. A try against London just before Easter 2. That was his first in 18 months. And Freddie Vakri has come up, the French international, with the first 4-pointer of the night.
And that is why, Steve-O, you want to get the ball into Louis Anderson's hands as soon as you can. Driving it in the middle. Once it gets out to Anderson's hands, Turner's got his hands full. Lance Ohio comes in, ducks down. Anderson's able to flick the ball. 2 passes later and they're over.
Well, you don't give Muniz the opportunity to pull away from 2 defenders. That created the 1-over. And as soon as he sucked the centre back in, there was nothing they could do it. Adam Swift had to go in because 2 had taken the first receiver, and Millard was quite happy to feed Frederick Vakri. He's got through a lot of work as this guy. Not frightened, as I mentioned earlier, to put his body on the line, but that was a nice finish. Great build-up, but you cannot afford the likes of Gregory Muniz. Remember, 2 or 3 tried to get to him. He bounced in, spun away, and created the overlap.
Well, this conversion that will be coming in here from Thomas Bosk, who missed with the earlier penalty, it's from almost exactly the same spot from which Scott Durow scored that dramatic conversion in stoppage time last year. I wonder if Scott Durow has been telling Thomas Bosk about the angles, just in case. This is a chance to make it 6-0. 4 goals from this fella in their first ever win at St Helens, 2009. And I'll tell you something, he has kicked this. It's 6-0 to the Catalan Dragons. And that really was a case of deja vu.
Eddie, John Wells will give us a look at this at half-time and analyse Lance O'Haya's contribution. If you're going to come in and try and shut a play down, you got to decide whether you're going to lock the ball up or you're going to go low at the legs. If Jordan Turner's going up high and he hasn't got the ball, you've got to get in and lock up the ball. If Jordan Turner's got the ball up high, you've got to get down the legs. Lance O'Haya, he didn't come up with the right decision on that occasion. Louis Anderson able to get the ball away, and the Catalan Dragons score.
Much to the delight of their small but very enthusiastic band of supporters, who have swapped the sunshine of the south of France for the sunshine of the northwest of England. It's not been a bad week.
Another great run there from the hooker, Ian Henderson. Really is getting good meters forward, and you can see that the Catalan side have really lifted.
And they will lift more now here because the big Tongan there, Lapini Paya, is on. 29 next week, coming back after a knee reconstruction during the off-season, and according to his coach, gradually getting back to full match fitness. Here is Bosk down the middle of the field.
There's a big problem for the centre, Daryl Millard.
Hamstring, Steve-O, straight away. He's put his hand on his left hamstring, signalled to the bench.
St Helens have to come on this right-hand side. They've gone the other way. They don't realise that Millard he can hardly walk.
He's no good. He just signalled he's no good. He's going to have to come off the field.
And yet Saints have gone the opposite way. They've got to get the message out, put pressure on him. And the Catalans, they're making an eternity to get him substituted.
Well, Remy Casti is coming off the bench now to replace him. That's hardly like for like, is it?
Oh, golden opportunity, just frittered away. Well, I can't believe that they haven't got the message out. They had an opportunity, 3 play the balls, whilst this guy could hardly walk.
Well, the players just didn't notice it, did they? It was all over the other side of the field.
You get the message out, Eddie.
Well, it was taking long enough to get Millard off. That's how quickly they get the messages on the field these days.
You know, the last 30 minutes of Catalan's performance last Sunday against Hull was terrible. But the first 30 minutes of this game has been brilliant. One of the best so far of the season. Territorially, they're dominating their opponents. Okay, they've been broken twice on the far side from where we sit. St Helens loving to go to their left. But it's been a very comprehensive performance so far from them. Well, tackle success rate of 98%. Again, greens are indicating that your side are doing good in that area. And those 3 key areas are the most important in the game of rugby league.
Oh, what a hit there, was it?
Great tackle from Jordan Turner on Escaré, but he got up quickly. The young man played the ball. Leon Price trying to stab it through.
Good opportunity, and you mentioned earlier that Leon Price, he looks up for this.
And Joe Green was the man who came to the rescue there for the Saints.
To be fair to Leon Price, there are times when he just seems to go to sleep. Doesn't look as though he's interested at certain parts of the game, but he's up for this one.
He appears to be, and of course he's got the head shave for the French charity for the youngsters who suffer from leukemia. Let's go down to Bill.
Daryl Millard looks like a knee problem they're treating at the moment on the Dragons bench. So Remy Casti, who'd only just been replaced by Lapini Paya, has had to come back into the action, and looks very unlikely that Millard will reappear this evening. Of course, Millard, who was the hero of Catalan Dragons' victory here the end of last season. It's intriguing what's going on with Leon Price as well, because he's had a couple of visits from the Dragons physio, so I'm just wondering whether Leon Price might be carrying a bit of a knock.
You know, while the statistics might point to the Catalan Dragons' victory and Catalan Dragons' ascendancy in this game, What you would say to St. Helens is stick in the fight. There's 8 minutes to go to half-time. You're only 6 points down. You got to hang in this fight here. Do not let the Catalan Dragons, before the half-time whistle goes, blow out this scoreline. And then you got a great chance in this game.
They lost each of their first 5 visits to St. Helens. They conceded 50 points or more on 3 of those occasions. They eventually broke their duck in 2009, and it's been very difficult for St. Helens to beat the Catalan Dragons on home soil ever since. And people like this, Thomas Bost, make it so difficult for any team.
For the last 10 minutes, it's been all Catalan. They really are bossing the game at the moment.
And Price gets the ball away here. And looking for the short pass was Escaré, and he found Remy Casti. They're getting to their feet quickly, though. Here's Price again. And it comes to Jamal Fakir. Back to Bosk. And big Lupini Paya goes for the line once more. Took 2 to bring him down, and Greenwood and Turner managed it. Here's Bosk again, dabs it to the in-goal area, and Adam Swift and Tommy Makinson content to concede the goal line dropout.
Beautiful little kick through, wasn't it, by Thomas Bosk. They really are bossing the issue. You'll be pleased.
They've done this before, Steve, earlier on this season against Wakefield Trinity Wildcats, the St. Helens side. They defended set after set off their own line. They had to do it again with Thomas Bosk. Great little kick. Swift taking no chances. Well, this is a position Saints are comfortable with. It is lung-busting, it is difficult, but this side can do it. And as the clock ticks and we get closer and closer to half-time, they know they'll be getting a rest.
Great goal line dropout. Underneath it, though, Escaré. And back at them comes big Jamal Fakir.
And the weight in the Catalan forwards are really making them struggle now. St. Helens, a few of them are finding it very difficult in defence. They really are running out of steam, some of these St. Helens players.
It was Anderson who got the ball away to Price. He then gets it infield to Muniz. Muniz bounces off a couple of would-be tacklers. It's Thomas Bosk.
I can't believe that the defence goes high on Gregory Muniz. He's got one of the best fends, and that's play on.
It is play on. It's Escaré, and has Morgan Escaré scored for the Catalan Dragons just before half-time?
I think so. It was one-on-one, and it was trying to be stolen by a St. Helens player. I think it's Greenwood that tries to get the ball away. He does, gets it away. Now then, where does it? I think that comes off Greenwood. So therefore, he's not in an offside position, the full-back. Well, he's having a big game, is Casti. And there you see,
you've got to make sure that doesn't come back onto Casti. If Greenwood
fingertips,
if he rips this backwards, that's the question. To see as he got ripped it backwards,
that's fine. And then Greenwood hits it again, but I think
if it hits Casti again, Steve, was the question.
Just with his fingertips. Now then, do they go to the first knock on? I think you'd have to say that Greenwood has knocked it on. It's hit Casti, so therefore...
You can't tell. Are you telling from that angle that it's touched Casti, Mike? Do you think he hit the ball there?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
But I think that...
And I think Ben Thaler does as well. It definitely hits the fingertips. The try for Morgan Escaré is wiped off, and there's just a little smile there from Laurent Freyschnu.
Well, I think
he's got the right decision there.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what,
the ball, it moves. The ball, as the fingers go across it, the ball moves.
If you're sitting down on that field wearing a St. Helens jumper now, or standing down that field, you're breathing a deep sigh of relief, Eddie. You're looking at the clock and you're saying, we're getting closer and closer to this half-time break. Let's ramp up here. Let's hold on to the ball. Let's get to our kicks. Let's complete. And let's make sure the Catalan Dragons go in with just a 6-point lead.
Well, Morgan Escaré thought he was across for his 4th try of the year. And Laurent Freyschnu, he's frustrated that try has been chalked off.
Brian, but the half-time break doesn't necessarily change the way the game's going. The players themselves have to change the momentum of the match, and at the moment it's in favour of the visitors.
You're absolutely right, Phil, but when you're defending that much time on your line and your lungs are bursting, your lungs are screaming, what you want is a 15-minute break.
And I think that Nathan Brown will be fully aware that this game, all rugby league games, have a habit of turning things around. Yep, the visitors have been in full control, they've been in charge, but they're only 6 points in front.
That was a solid run from Wormsley. Wilkin gets it away to Makinson. Here is Percival. This fella can make a break. Oh, but he's lost the ball forward. Was he in touch anyway?
That's good defence, you know, by Catalan. That's the third occasion where they've said, OK, we know you've got talent, but go on the outside. No chance of a step to come back into the field of play. And they said, go on the outside. We've got the defence to do it.
In touch anyway with the foot. And Mark Percival, 2 tries against Hull KR last Sunday in the defeat, only 18 years of age. Huge future, but the next 4 minutes for Saints are critical.
All you'd say on that occasion, Eddie, is as long as he learns from it. They give away a differential penalty now. As long as Percival learns from that, you got to get to your kick. When you're defending so much, you need to try and complete your sets.
Well, there's still plenty of time in this first half, and again, they're allowing this guy. Henderson is just completely running the show, and half of the St. Helens players, they didn't know that he'd actually tapped it.
Here's Menzies, gets the pass away, brilliant hands, finds Damien Blanche over the top, and Escaré won't be denied this time. That's a fantastic drive from the Catalan Dragons, absolutely brilliant. Menzies at the heart of it. I think Casti got the final ball away to Morgan Escaré, and well, the young man, he was denied by the video referee just a couple of minutes ago, and this 21-year-old who's come from nowhere. He was with San Esteve, 13 tries in 10 matches for them, but he's setting Super League alight.
And this all came about by giving him the opportunity to try to go around us. As I mentioned, third occasion, Percival couldn't get through, got into touch. Beautiful offload, wasn't it? Fantastic. And so much composure there by Damien Blanche. But this young fullback, he's setting the world on fire. Absolutely superb.
What about the rugby play there from Steve Menzies? Draw a man, deliver a short pass and set up the try. It's almost gone unnoticed, hasn't it, with the quality of the final play to Morgan Escaré. Steve Menzies is still one of the best players in this competition, even though he's by far the oldest.
Yeah, he's 39 years of age. He'll be nearly 40 by the end of the season, and he couldn't go around again next year, could he?
It's brilliant what he's just done. It's brilliant. Defensively, he's been good on the right. And what he just did there to create that try, sheer class.
And on top of that, you know, you take him out of the forward battle, and he doesn't tire as often, and that's smart work.
Important kick here for Thomas Bosk. This for a 12-0 lead, and 12-0 it's going to be.
And there's echoes of the other Catalan Dragons try here. A defender for St. Helens makes the decision to come in and assist his teammate. If you're doing it, you've got to shut the ball down. Otherwise, you make life too hard for the men outside you. I think it was Percival on this occasion, decided to come in, came up with nothing. The Catalan Dragons good enough to get the ball to Blanche, him inside to Escaré.
He's a talent. Keep your eye out for this fella. And keep your eye out for the old bloke there as well, Steve Menzies. He would have enjoyed every second of that. But the power of this Catalan pack certainly made its mark, hasn't it? They look far more enthusiastic than their opposition.
12-0 then here at Langtree Park. The Catalan Dragons ahead of St. Helens. And looking full of it as Muniz gets the ball away to Jamal Fakir again.
They just can't handle him, can they?
And leads only 8-0 up against the London Broncos at Headingley.
I'm referring to Gregory Muniz. Since he's came off the bench, he really has made a huge impact.
Taya gets to his feet, plays it to Henderson. He finds Price, who'll hump it downfield.
Going to let it bounce.
Adam Swift is underneath it, and Leon Price charged his way upfield then to put everyone on side. All the action from Headingley featuring in Super League Extra Time, which follows the game here when you press those red buttons at the end of the match. We'll have full analysis of this game and those tries from Headingley as well. And Wormsley going forward and getting a penalty for offside.
They want to get on with it quickly. And Wilkin has pushed it right down into the corner. That is a wonderful penalty.
Could they, Steve-O, just before half-time?
Well, it would be a fantastic boost for them, wouldn't it?
They need it.
This is Soliola.
this has been like hen's teeth, hasn't it? It's been so rare.
Stuart Howard, the dummy half, 9 metres away. John Wilkin, back it comes to O'Hire. O'Hire then finds Makinson. He does it to the in-goal area, and to the rescue comes Freddie Vakare once again. Well, Vakare, try scorer after 26 minutes, and he has been all over the shop for the Catalan Dragons tonight. He's been taking the ball forward, he's been big in defence, he scored the first try. That was improved by Thomas Bosch, that made it 6-0. They had a try disallowed by the video referee as well, so it could have got worse for St Helens, and then it did. Just 3 minutes from half-time, Escaré over for the try, Bosch improved it, and the Dragons